Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to another chatty video talking about some recent-ish makeup releases. I got a lot of positive feedback when I asked if people, liked me doing these videos. So I was like, let's give the people what they want. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna talk about some recent, I feel like it's from the past like month-ish, maybe not quite a month, makeup releases that caught my eye. Obviously I'm not going to talk about everything, but certain things I have opinions on. So let's just go ahead, scooch over, and give a little chit chat. First of all, I will start off by saying the number one thing I noticed is how many blue and like green, like icy kind of blue, green, purpley palettes are coming out. When I was going through, I mostly use Makeup Release Radar Official and Trend Mood for, like going through recent makeup releases, and I was like not shocked, but I noticed how many like blue-green palettes have been coming out. A recent release from Wicked Widow Beauty. There's a lot of smaller indie brands I've never really heard of, but this looks like a really nice blue-green kind of purple color story. I like that it looks like it has like a deeper purple in here. I maybe would have liked a deeper blue, but that's just me and my really picky preferences about dark mattes. But otherwise it looks like super, super pretty, honestly. Another one from MBA Cosmetics. Again, another purple, green, blue palette. I like the depth in here. I mean, the shades look really pretty. I cannot fault it. This palette from ColourPop had everyone shook. What is this technically? Aurora Struck eyeshadow palette. This is something that I could see myself buying in the future. Maybe like in the future if they have a sale or whatever. This is like a ColourPop release that I really feel like hits on a trend in like a way that feels like more thought out. I feel like a lot of times they're just kind of like releasing sometimes seemingly random shit, but this feels like, I don't know, a rare good release from ColourPop. I am very much into it. Like it. I like the like blue lip gloss that they have come out with. I think that looks really cool. I don't know. I'm into it. ColourPop though, it's like, it's just too much to keep up with. Another kind of, this is more like blue-green palette from Pink Crush Cosmetics. Their Winter Moon palette. This to me doesn't really like intrigue me that much, to be honest. It's a 9-pan, but I know lots of people like smaller palettes. Their shimmers just look okay. But anyway, I just noticed it, so I thought I'd mention it. This is kind of similar a little bit, the Ensley Rain and Brittany Huffman collab. This is called their Midwinter Dream palette. Looks, oh my god, I gasped audibly when I saw this palette. This palette feels like it was made for me. Look at all these dark mattes and beautiful shimmers. I really want this palette. It releases on December 13th, which is in a couple days from now, like as of me filming this. So honestly, by the time I upload this video, I'm sure it will already have been released and probably sold out. It's $88 USD, which is so expensive. That is really, really expensive. There's 21 shades. I mean, it is an indie brand with like maybe some multi-chromes. I'm not entirely sure, but I love the color story. Again, any palette that has dark mattes, I am pretty much immediately at least interested in, and yeah. But the price may put me off of it. I'm not entirely sure. Another very recent release, I guess Pat McGrath is doing another collab with Star Wars. I guess she's like re-promoting the Midnight Sun palette, which, okay, let me tell you a little story. It's probably the saddest thing you've ever heard. this morning, long story short, I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning and I was on Instagram and I saw people were posting on their stories like, and I think in reaction to this announcement, like, oh, the Pat McGrath Midnight Sun palette's like on sale. Like, why would, like, you know, basically what's the point of like re-promoting this palette with like essentially limited edition outer packaging? Anyway, and I saw on the Pat McGrath site it was on sale for $100 Canadian, which is like almost 50% off. I was like, holy shit. So I was like, I'm finna buy that palette. I went back to sleep. I was like, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna go to sleep. I'll wake up and I'll buy it. I woke up literally like 4 hours later, sold out. Or no, not sold out. The price went back to regular. I was like, was this a fever dream? Did I imagine that this happened? I don't know. But it was, I mean, sad, but also I guess I just saved $100. But anyway, I was like, maybe I'll have Midnight Sun in my collection. Alas. Two really like these 5 pans. I don't know. I'm just such a Pat McGrath fan, and the 2 5-pan palettes that she released for like holiday or whatever look really nice. Some of these look a little bit more colorful. I am into it, as I am typically with everything Pat McGrath releases. What are these? What are these little pots? Chromolux Artistry pigments. I don't know. I don't care about that. Whatever, are these lip glosses or something? I don't care about that, to be honest. Colored mascaras, definitely don't care about that. Don't really care about Star Wars in general, but I do like the look of these 5 pans. Probably won't buy them though. This is a palette from Martine Cosmetics. I feel like I always, I see them coming out with palettes. I feel like particularly within maybe like the last year or so, I've seen them come out with like regular-ish palette releases, but there's always just something that, number one, there's something that doesn't like impress me enough to actually want to make a purchase from them. And they are a little bit more difficult to get. I believe they're based in Belgium, but I'm not 100% sure about that. And I feel like there's always shades that repeat, or like shades that are quite similar in their palettes, like no matter what. I don't know. This also looks like similar to a palette that Nomad released this year. I like the warm and the cool color story. I think it's really nice. Not something that I would like buy, but it seems nice. I guess let's talk still about some other eyeshadow palettes. Oh, Menagerie released this, I guess, on November 25th. So a little bit ago, but not too long ago. The Paws and Claws collection. Menagerie I used to lust after their palettes, but the more that time has gone on, the less, I don't want to say the less I care about them, but the less I care about them. There's just something about them that I'm just really not super drawn to. And I thought that these color stories were going to be different than what they are when I saw their like sneak peeks. Basically, not for me. I guess I can see the appeal. One's like a blue-green palette with like an orange. One's like a pink, pinky red palette with a green and a gray. So interesting, but just not anything that I particularly feel like I want. These 2 new palettes from Ace Beauté, the Envy eyeshadow palette and the Aura, I think look really, really pretty. I always feel, and have been saying this forever, that Ace Beauté always is really just ahead of the game all the time with their color stories. I always think they nail their color stories. Their palettes are always so beautiful to me. And I've heard, especially since they reformulated, such rave reviews about their formula, and I could see myself making a purchase from Ace Beauty in the future. So maybe that will be a reality for me in 2023. And then Lethal released, I believe, 2 palettes, the Metamorphosis palette and the Evergreen palette. Is that correct? I think so. The thing is, I always feel like Lethal's product shots, like the product shots of these palettes, look beautiful. It looks like there's some duochrome / multichrome question marks. Multichrome question mark. That didn't necessarily translate how I wanted it. One's like a blue, green, purple palette. And one is like a kind of like orangey warm tone palette, basically with a green in it. And I like these color stories, but whenever I see people actually use them, or like actual pictures of the products and like the products actually being in use, there's something that I'm like, I don't know that that would be like a love for me, particularly with their shimmer formula. So I don't know. There's just not, I don't necessarily see myself making a purchase from Lethal, at least not right now. If you have tried Lethal, I would love to know what you guys think of it, because I feel like I always hear people rave about how much they love it, but when I see the products actually used, to me, it doesn't like necessarily translate as a product that I think would be like necessarily my preference. So that's just kind of been my opinion. And then, oh, last palette, which actually, when I first saw it, didn't even like really fully register in my mind, you know, especially because it's from ColourPop and there's just like, it's impossible, you know, to keep up with them. But the Muppets palette, I saw Angelica Nyqvist use this in a video and it looked quite impressive, actually, particularly their shimmer formula. I like ColourPop's eyeshadows, but their shimmer formula isn't, to me at least, anything that's like super special. But these shimmers looked really sparkly and really nice, and definitely made me take a second look at this palette. I legitimately could not care less about the Muppets. If anything, it's like a deterrent for me that this is a Muppets themed palette. But I do like the dark blue and the dark brown in here. So that is an interesting thing. And then Glamlight released their Strawberry Shortcake collection. And my issue with Glamlight, which actually I did make an order from Glamlight for Black Friday, on Black Friday. Anyway, hasn't gotten to me yet, but palettes from Glamlight are coming on my channel. Anyway, my first reaction to this palette was that it reminded me of the Colored Rain Juicy Boost palette, because Juicy Boost is like very, you know, pink, warm toned, and then, you know, blue and green. Obviously it's not quite the exact same, but it definitely gives me similar vibes. So I definitely don't necessarily feel inclined to buy it, because I already have a palette that has a similar color story and a formula I already know that I love. But with Glamlight, I always feel like I want more depth from their eyeshadows. I feel like their palettes are pretty much overwhelmingly mid-toned, like all the time. And I just want them to add deep mattes, especially because a lot of the time I feel like they have a lot of similar shades in their palettes. And I'm always like, you could have made that one shade like really deep. I just don't always understand the choices that they make in terms of their color stories. But I know that a ton of people are Glamlight super fans, or like love Glamlight and buy like a ton of shit from them. So I'm sure it will be a hit, no matter what I think. And then this is a brand that I just really don't quite get. Trixie Cosmetics releasing their Sweet Treats collections, releasing 3 quads, and honestly, it's just like couldn't be less exciting to me. I really just don't jive. I feel like with Trixie Cosmetics, I initially, you know, kind of thought I would, like a drag queen makeup brand like Kimchi Chic. Similarly, also, I feel like makes questionable, like, products that I just don't, I would never want them, and I really don't get it. Like, their Spinning Hearts Love palettes, I don't know. It's just like shoe neutral palettes, and is one shimmer and one matte. Yeah, like, I just don't really understand this. I don't understand this release from either brand. I mean, obviously people are buying their products, but it's like I'm just not, I don't care about them. I know, I'm sorry if that's harsh and you love them, but I personally just really don't care. More complexion products. This initially, again, I skipped over, but I saw Eyeshadow Island do a reel today on her stories. No, on her page. Anyway, she posted a reel using one of these highlighters from Rare Beauty, the Positive Light Silky Touch highlighter, and it looked super beautiful, like so shiny and wet looking, and so that has become a new item on my wish list. It looks really, really nice. Apparently they're like a putty highlighter, a powder highlighter. Get the glass-like glow of a liquid highlighter in an easy compact. I don't know, looks nice. And then e.l.f. released luminous putty bronzers. So I guess like they released luminous blushes. I feel like those didn't get great reviews, but they're releasing, I guess, like a luminous version of their putty highlighter, which I love. I'm wearing today, and I recently tried a shade of their putty blushes, a shade Bora Bora, which is like a bright pink. Loved. I'm a fan of the e.l.f. putty line, so I'm interested to try their luminous blushes and luminous bronzers. But anyway, also Alamar Cosmetics released Colorette Concentrate Liquid Blush products. Makes sense that they're releasing a liquid blush. Feels a bit late, but I don't know. I'm literally always down to try any blush, so I would love to try that, as well as the Makeup by Mitchell Blush. Oh, I don't know why I hate that name. I just hate it. Basically pressed blushes and bronzers. Pressed like color powders. Yeah, pressed blushes and bronzers. They have a yellow. I love the shades of blush that Makeup by Mitchell, Made by Mitchell, right? Made by Mitchell does. I really want to try his liquid blushes. I want to try these. Again, I think the shade range of the bronzer looks good as far as I can see from this picture. Intrigued for sure. Charlotte Tilbury releasing Hollywood, basically highlighters, which I think is a smart decision for her. Hopefully they're permanent, because I feel like all of her products are like always limited edition. I'm sure a ton of people are going to review these. If it's good, I could, see myself putting it on my wish list. Maybe not buying it, not right now anyway, but I feel like I've been craving new highlighters because I have quite a large highlighter collection. I haven't bought really new highlighters in a long time, so I feel like I'm in the mood to try some new ones. This product from Jouer is just, I don't even understand the thought process of this. A Ménage à Trois Butter Bronzer Blush and Highlight. Basically, it's just one shade of like kind of a bronzy, shimmery powder. It's like, it's just pretty much, it's just a powder that's going to be like okay for everyone. Like probably just subpar on all accounts, or it's just going to be like a nice bronzer for people with like light skin tones. I just feel like if you're gonna release blushes, bronzer, highlighter, whatever, but at least come out with multiple shades. This genuinely just feels like super lazy to me, and it's 2022. And it's not like Jouer isn't an established brand. And I get that it's expensive to release like multiple shades of a product, but I don't know who the fuck is making decisions, for these brands, but you can release like 3 shades of a blush, bronzer, or highlight and have it be inclusive. Anyway, let me step off my soapbox. Maybe let's move on to some of the questionable releases, because we're getting to the end of what I had. First of all, this NYX Avatar collection, but I feel like it's just strange to begin with, but then I saw the price of this eyeshadow palette is $52. And I just would love to know why. And are we really buying $52? A palette from NYX for $52? I mean, I've tried one eyeshadow palette from NYX and it was like just okay. It was like passable. I mean, like high-end palettes are $50. Like this Odin's Eye palette that I have in front of me, I think was like approximately $50, you know, give or take. And I'm sure that this is like 10 times better quality than that NYX. It's just like truly blows my mind. And then they had like a setting spray for $26. Like, is it worth it to collab with Avatar? I don't know who's buying these products, and I don't mean that in a rude way. If you want one of these products, like genuinely, like I would love to know and know why. Are you a super huge fan of Avatar? Anyway, it's just like, I don't really have words, as you can say. Anyway, if it was like a $10 palette or like a $25 palette even, fine. $50 literally in this economy. It's just. And then finally, let's just leave it off. I saw this today when I was looking on Instagram and I was like, what is this? Base Blue Cosmetics. I've never heard of this brand, but it has 33,000 followers on Instagram. Oh, this is the brand that had this like weird fucking tulip palette. I feel like they have like pretty much, and this like paint, okay. So they have concepts. And maybe we haven't necessarily reached like practicality, but conceptually they're out here, you know, and doing stuff. But they are releasing a whale transforming lip balm that says a color changing lip balm. So it's going to be pink. Has an ultra hydrating formula with the freshness of ocean. What does that even mean? It features a cute whale shaped top and 2 stripes colored in sky blue and ocean blue. I guess it's just a color changing lip balm that's inspired by whales as an animal. Okay, sure. Whales terrify me. Fun fact about me, I'm really scared of anything that pretty much lives in the water, but whales are like, I love them and I'm so terrified of them. They like freak me out and I love watching videos of them. Anyway, so I saw this and was immediately attracted to it. But I was just like, that's a product. That right there is a choice. That's a choice, Base Blue Cosmetics. But honestly, everything they've released has been a choice. Anyway, on that note, I will leave you. I feel like I've had a few scathing takes today, but sometimes that's the fun of these videos. I have filmed this look. I did use the Odin's Eye Christmas Eve palette, which should be coming in a 3 looks 1 palette video if it is available. If it's uploaded before this video, I will link it down below. Otherwise, stay on the lookout for it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know if you still like these. I really appreciate it, and they're fun for me to do as well, and it helps me, I think, like keep up with, you know, kind of what's going on. But yeah, I would love to see you in my next video, and I will leave you. Bye!